Cumulative, what's up? It's another week. Some more reading being done. I hope your mid-December is going well. Yeah. So, last time I read some more Game of Thrones. I read Tyrion, second time. This chapter, we see Jon Tyrion, Jon's uncle, I think Benjen, and a couple other people they pick up along the way going up towards the wall. Yeah, this felt very much like a boys will be boys kind of chapter. We get to see what kind of people, I guess, there is in the country, like all the outcasts, the losers, the criminals, a variety of people, and some questions of like, so far, Benjen, John's uncle, seems like a pretty good guy. Why is he at the wall? I'm sure we'll know. And so maybe, justice is blind kind of thing, and not everybody deserves to go to the, quote unquote prison or whatever this is. I liked it. It was good. I like some of the world building done here, talking about dragons and stuff and books. The way that Jon and Tyrion play on each other so far, I really like that kind of writing where we get like Jon is maybe naive, but kind of growing up here, maturing a little bit, and maybe not everything is as cynical as Tyrion maybe believes it is. There's still that glimmer in the youth that maybe people have lost along the way. Yeah. Really interested to see where we're going to go. And I also read book 3 of the Iliad. And in this, we do a little bit more roll call stuff, which I'm not a fan of at all. Come on, man. I know who, Menelaus is. I know who Agamemnon is, and Hector and all them. Paris. Yeah. But I understand that, for the storytelling back in the days when it was all delivered orally, that sure, this helps the people who may not have checked in for the first episodes, right? Okay. But as a reader, yeah, whatever. Still, it's the Iliad, right? I'm surprised that the two sides actually agreed to do a trial by combat, one-on-one kind of thing between Menelaus and Paris. And of course, the Greeks make Paris to look like some weakling, and maybe he is, right? Like this guy who's like very much the, oh, don't hate me, I'm beautiful. Yeah, but you're also a loser. Like this really feels like a bunch of victims of circumstance. Helen, Paris, Hector. It's just a big, I guess, tragedy, right? The Greeks are known for their tragedies. And it's like, are we really going to let the past 9, 10 years of going out on this war campaign go to waste because the gods deemed it so or whatever? Man, yeah. But of course, the gods being the gods can't let things just go the way they go in this story. They have to get in there and mess with stuff to make it so that they look good. I mean, do they even look good? Promises have to be kept, and you guys got to start finding loopholes and finding certain ways around stuff. Book 3 is better than book 2 so far. Yeah. I'm going to do some more reading. See you Tuesday. So, I read Caitlin the third chapter, the third time. Yeah. The grief and stuff that Caitlin's feeling for Bran, it's understandable, sure. But yeah, it's kind of getting a little old here now. And then the switch from, from before what happens in this chapter to after. Like, okay, it's a little refreshing. Nothing like an attempted assassination of a kid to try to, and then a direwolf, and then all that happens, burning of a library and all that other stuff. Yeah. Nothing like that to slap you out of that stupor, that funk that she had. And then a lot of all the positioning and the way that this chapter was also in regards to where it was placed leads me to believe that there's more conspiracy happening with Tyrion and Jamie than there is, just the bald face look of it, right? Of like, oh, it was this guy who did it, that has hired the hitman that is kind of really dumb and just wants to follow a plan and not really a trained assassin with his own thoughts or whatever, just a guy following a plan. Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll see where the next chapter goes. The direwolves, man. It's not the humans. It's not like Jon and stuff. It's the direwolves that are my favorite so far. Even Tyrion. Also read the next chapter in the Iliad, book 4. Yeah, in this one, we see the Trojans break the oath that they made to Jove, to Zeus, and how Athena comes down and basically instigates the Trojans and their allies to break the truce, break the oath, and really push the war. Because, Hera and Athena really, really want to destroy Troy. And Zeus is like, man, look, if I ever want to destroy one of your cities, you best not be upset when he tells Hera that. It's not like Troy's not a bad place for Zeus. They treated him well, apparently. But Hera is going to have her ways. And so, like, it feels empty when Hera's like, go ahead and destroy one of my cities. It's fine. I don't care. Go ahead and you can attack Sparta and some other stuff. Like, lady, if Zeus is going to do it, he's going to do it. He doesn't need your permission. It's that might makes right case system stuff, I guess, right? But yeah, besides that, the Agamemnon goes around and rallies his men, get to see some more of the actors playing up and see some of the personalities. Odysseus is kind of like sitting back and, waiting to see what he's going to do. And yeah, Agamemnon rebukes him a little bit and it's like, yo, you're one of the quickest to our tables to feast and to drink. Like you're sitting back and waiting to go to the front lines for war. And Odysseus is like, yeah, what do you like? Are you really gonna test me? Like, what do you mean? And Agamemnon's like, oh, okay, hold on, maybe don't upset some of your best fighters and tacticians. Let them do what they're gonna do, and then have that, size up the men. Will tell you what kind of person they are. And then they're like some of the first deaths of the Trojan and the Achaean War, and just it's that feel of like, well, it's gonna be the common people that get killed, and they live relatively peaceful lives, sons of shepherds or whatever, or they live out their days on gentle sloping hills and stuff, little islands or whatever. A lot of that, a lot of like, there's a tragedy. The war is a tragedy. And it is. War is terrible. And we seem to keep going towards that. It's human nature, is what we keep telling ourselves. Man, December is flying by. But I guess it does when you have things that occupy your time, huh? Yep, I did some reading, like usual. I read some Game of Thrones. In this chapter, Sansa, we follow Sansa Stark and how she is mingling with the Lannisters and that court on their way to King's Landing, I think is the name of the capital that they're going to. And yeah, she's easily taken in by that court, man. She's just some poor kid caught up in all their politicking and stuff, and she's got no real defense against it. She's caught up in it, and it is kind of gross. It's pretty gross. But I guess that's normal for, royalty and court life and stuff. But, and yeah, there's friction between Sansa and her sister Arya, and the wolves. Obviously, like the wolves are obviously going to be a problem. I don't know what Ned was thinking was going to happen by leaving them to their own devices. No, poor wolf is, I'm sure, up for a lot of trouble after this chapter. After she bit Joffrey, and Joffrey being a total jerk to that poor butcher's kid. And those things have consequences, I guess, when other people basically tell you what to do. Being a child, well, yeah, adults are gonna tell you what to do. Yeah, yeah. No, things are going bad. Things are gonna go terribly, terribly bad. Speaking of terribly, terribly bad, the Iliad, book 5. Yeah, this one is just wanton murder. It's war. It's bloody. It's gruesome. It's tragic. There's all the contrast of like, oh, he was a shepherd's boy and he grew up on the gentle sloping hills off the island of so and so. With, oh, the daggers, went through his pelvis, or went through his face, and he tasted steel. And yeah, it's really gory. It's tiring how gory it is. It's just Diomed, the guy who just the Achaean that just slaughters and slaughters and slaughters the Trojan allies. In this chapter, he's just going on, man. He's just killing people. Athena comes down, Minerva, and helps him out, gives him a boon, and he even stabs Aphrodite, Venus, in the hand, and she flies off. And he keeps on trying to kill some guy that Apollo was trying to protect, and it just spirals out of control until Ares shows up, Mars, and they just start going at it with him and the Trojans, and then Athena and Hera, Juno and Minerva come down, and they're at it, and yeah, until like they bring down Ares as well, and they all go up to Olympus to go crying afterwards. It's like, geez, yeah, yeah. And yet I'm still having more fun reading this than I was reading The Great Conversation, right? Like, I don't know, something about fiction just seems more engaging to me than just the guy telling me, hey, this, and that. Yeah. I mean, nonfiction has its places, sure, but nah. Give me story and allegory and metaphor. Yeah. Okay. Let's read for Thursday. I may have to take the book in today and read it some more, and because this type of reading on these kind of books, it takes up a good while. I am a slow reader. Man. So the weather, I didn't even realize that it was 3 weeks of just constant fog. I really like the overcast. I really like rainy, gloomy weather. So to me, I was just having a great old time, even though it was cold. That I didn't really like as much, but I can mitigate that. Put on a jacket, whatever. But apparently we had 3 weeks of fog. And I watched a video yesterday where they were like, yeah, this Thule fog or whatever, it's been in here. It's a thing from the 90s. I remember those days. And back in the days, we would have fog, and me and my friends we would play catch or, kick a soccer ball the hardest we could towards each other in that thick, thick fog. Good times. But yeah, I also, so before I was doing my journaling, I was reading, obviously, as my hobby, the thing. And I just finished Conan today. Had the time. Was out there in the parking lot. Read me some Conan. And yeah, finished Conan. And I've been thinking, I do my reading. I'm having a lot of fun. One's a reread, the other one brand new, right? And maybe I pick up another book because one chapter a day from two books, two chapters a day. I want to keep reading, but well, if I'm going to keep this journal experiment going, then yeah, nope. So I'm thinking of picking up the Bible. That thing I need to be doing. I should be reading that as well. And so next time, expect the Bible to be on this journal. Cool. Speaking of the journal, let's get that done. I read Iliad the third time in Game of Thrones. Yeah, the fallout from the last chapter, right? The Starks have to deal with the dire wolves attacking Joffrey, or one of the dire wolves. Nimia, I think. Arya's wolf. And, Joffrey being all upset that he got attacked and beat by a girl, which is fine. He's a wimp. But the fallout from all that, and the Lannisters and how they're going to have to, show what kind of people they are. And just disgusting court life. I don't like it, but it is what it is. If it's right, that's the kind of people that, nobility is, especially when they feel slighted. And Robert being just a loser, puppet of a king, he's got his responsibilities, and that's what it is. That's how you have to be a king sometimes. And you have to listen to your court. Nah, Robert, super lame. What a horrible king. It's the whole thing of when you chase the dog that chases a car, finally catches it. Nah, Robert is not a king. Not does the title a man make, or something like that. We see Arya. Arya shows up. They find her. They bring her in. They have the little court thing, little kangaroo court they're gonna have. They already know what they're gonna do, and yet they can't really do much to Arya. They expect the Starks to take care of her, deal with her. And I'm like, are you guys, for a second there, I'm like, you guys really gonna kill a kid? Even though it's totally, they would have killed her if she wasn't a Stark for sure. Terrible. And then okay, well, we need some bloodthirsty. So direwolf's on the menu, right? And I'm like, yeah, I remember some of this happening in the show and thinking do you guys really think that you guys are going to be able to keep a direwolf in a civilized, quote unquote, civilized place? Nah. These things were meant to be abandoned and killed and maltreated by, the people in King's Landing or wherever the heck they're going. That kind of thing can only fly, and even barely, in the north. And so, yeah, terrible things happen to the direwolves. And then they still show up at the end of the chapter with freaking Mikhail or whatever, the butcher's kid. And I'm like, is he dead? He's in a sack or something. What the heck? Yeah, I want to do some more reading. This is good stuff, Martin. Good stuff. And I thought I was going to have to take the book in and be reading it slowly, but no, the chapter wasn't so complicated. And I read the Iliad, book 6. In this one, there's just more and more killing, just slaughter. The Chians killing people. And it's still that same taste of oh, he was a baker's child or something. It's just an example. And he also was slain by the sword to the gut. Okay, I know it's tragic. I get it. And then Dio something, the the guy that's been slaughtering tons and tons of Trojans and Trojan allies, encounters this guy out in the front lines, and they have a talk. Of course, they have a talk, and they find out, who they are, and they claim who they be. If they're gods, that he doesn't want to fight them because that's basically like the thing that he agreed with Athena. And like suddenly he loses his ability to distinguish gods from the last chapter, probably because Athena and Hera took off towards Olympus with the Ares. But yeah, okay. Oh, and I was like, what? Blepharon? That I remember that name. Oh yeah, I've heard that name before. And the Chimera and stuff. And Sisyphus is mentioned. Like, oh, okay, these bunch of guys that I haven't read their stories, or if I have, I haven't read them in a long time. Oh, cool. Okay. And this guy Glaucius. Yeah, like okay. Roman Greek names, they're difficult. Every time I see Achilles, I want to be like Achilles, but nope. You need some anchovies. Anyways, yeah. They have their little chit chat, and they're like, "Oh, we're friends. Actually, our parents got along well, and I have a cup or whatever." Okay, well, let's not fight each other, and I'm gonna give you this golden armor. Okay, whatever. Anyways, we need to go back to killing. So that we come back to that, and it just feels like the Trojans are just weak sauce. These Trojan allies with no plans, they're just straight soldiers, they're just meat shields, bodies. Whereas the Chians, they got, Athena on their side, and they got tactics, and they all speak one language, and they have one purpose: to sack Troy. Okay, okay. And so Hector gets called back. They're like, Hector, go back home and do all this stuff. Pray to Athena or Minerva and do all this and go and whatever. And it's like, all right, Hector goes back. Really, you guys think that Athena is going to listen to you guys at this point? But I'm sure it'd be worse had they not. It's that, again, that case system, gods and kings and the court of like, please, this is so terribly wrong and dumb in my views. Right? I don't believe in a superior type of people or superior type of class. You have tons of money, or your father was a movie star, or you yourself are an awesome author. Yeah, cool. That doesn't make you better than anybody else. And so we have the gods, and even those things. I'm like, no, 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 I don't believe any of that stuff being superior. It's just dumb. But there they go. Here goes Hector, go talking to Paris. And you can kind of tell the like character tropes that are fitting into the puzzle here. We got, the true tragic hero on one side and another true tragic hero on the other side. One Hector is over here with his, home, and he's got to worry about his brother bringing all this doom with some lady that he brought in. And you have Achilles over here, angry and slighted and glory hungry. Okay, I get it. It's that kind of story. That's what we're dealing with. It's true. It's very human, I'm sure. At least for the people when they're in the thick of something as serious as war. Yeah, life and death matters. And suddenly the melodrama shows up, right? Yeah. Anyways, Bible tomorrow. Let's read some Genesis. Yo, what's up? So, I added the Bible to my reading because, like, just reading one chapter a day for some of these, like Game of Thrones, I want to do some more reading. And I just finished my book that I had been reading before this journal project, so I added the Bible. That should add a lot more reading to my reading list. And I have been wanting to read it. I got the King James Version. I want to do some of that literature reading, right? because if I just wanted to read it, I'm sure there's many, many different versions of it. But I went with the King James version. Anyways, let's start with Game of Thrones. I'm on Bran 3. This one, great chapter. I'm finding that the Bran chapters are my favorite. The John chapters are also a good one so far, or second. And Tyrion is, I think, the other ones. Everything else is just falling into place and pushing the plot along. But this one had Bran in a dream kind of setting, falling, everyone's had those kind of dreams. I think most people have, at least, where you're falling. And, I don't know how many people have actually experienced hitting the floor in those kinds of dreams, but I have. And of course, comedically, it's the kind of falling off the bed that made it either I didn't and it just felt like it because I woke up falling off the bed, or I did and the sudden feeling of falling off your bed jolted me and knocked me off the bed. It's not like that's a normal thing, but yeah, that was his dream, and he was talking with the crow, and it had a lot of Nordic kind of scrying prophecy, a lot of magical dream stuff going on. And yeah, it was a really good chapter. Glad to see that Bran wakes up, even though I kind of knew that already. Can't wait to get past whatever the first season of Game of Thrones had in these books. And yeah, the name, they did mention it this far into the book or into the show. The name of the direwolf, Bran's direwolf, being Summer, contrasting against winter and that whole thing. Yeah, really good, really good. Been wanting to read the next chapter all day. When I get to that, it's gonna be great. Highlight. I don't know if it's sad or not, but that's a highlight of my day, man, doing my reading. I also read the Iliad, book 7. I think that's 7. Yeah. And this, Hector and Paris make a superhero kind of entrance, it feels like, or a rock star kind of entrance, and start slaughtering the Kians. And yeah, they're just going at it, right? And then Athena's like, oh, I gotta jump in there, and Apollo stops her, and they turn into vultures, and they, influence the two sides to go into a 1-versus-1 battle right before night, so that they can make some kind of ceasefire for the time, and so that they can bury their dead. And Hector comes out and does his thing, and none of the Kians want to challenge him and accept it, and they get reprimanded by Nestor, and Menelaus is like, oh, I'll do it. And then they're like, no, Menelaus, no, look, we need somebody that can stand a chance against Hector. That's pretty rough. But yeah, no, they cast lots, and Ajax is the guy who ends up winning the lot. And they have a fight. And I remember the first time reading this, like, oh man, Ajax. He's a number, all right. Yeah. I never knew what happened to that guy. I read Odyssey and I was like, what? What do we got beef with? Well, we'll get there when we get there. But yeah. Only a couple pages long in this edition. This translation, I prefer the Robert one, the Robert Fagles, but yeah. Samuel Butler, not so bad. It's not as poetic as I thought it was going to be. It's still a little bit in the middle of verse and prose. And I also got to Genesis chapter 1. And yeah, this guy. Creation. It's a creation of reality, right? God, like, what's the first line? I always thought it was something like, I am the Alpha, the Omega, or it was let there be light. I thought those were, like, in my memory, I was thinking, that's like the first line. But no, the in this edition, the first line is, "In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth." And like, yeah, I was this edition's a study kind of Bible, and it has some stuff in there in the beginning of the chapters. I haven't done a lot of that extensive reading. I feel like I should, get some more background and just helping me out with the just reading it. Just if I was just reading it just straight up. But yeah, it makes me wonder some stuff. Like, it doesn't feel like a lot of it is good. Like a couple things God says is good, was good. Actually, he uses was, and it makes me wonder, like, what, like past tense, or it was, like, what do you mean was? It's not is, but was good. Another thing that has me like scratching my head a little bit is when he says that man was created in our image. Who's our? It should be his image. But maybe it's just the translation. Maybe it has something to do with, this is meant to be read aloud, I think, in the Torah and stuff, they read the Bible out loud, I think. So maybe it's written for that. Yeah, it was okay. There's no serpents yet. That's probably the next chapter. We do have man and woman. We have the firmament, which is a thing that I always like. What are you talking about, man? What are you? A body of water in the sky? The creepy crawlies and the cows and all the other stuff being made too, and the plants that have their seeds inside them and stuff. All this stuff was being made. And it's only 6 days. We haven't gotten to the Sabbath yet. So, like, whoa, Sabbath. Yeah, I'm having fun. They say Moses wrote it. And I'm like, come on, Moses, maybe a priest, a prophet, somebody, but really, Moses? Nah. But that's what they say. Yeah, it's not very, doing this, reading it one chapter a day. It's hard. It's hard. Sometimes I want to read multiple chapters, but doing this makes it so that I stay interested for sure. I'm not burning out at all. I would think maybe 3 books for this type of journaling thing would be a lot, even though I was already reading 3 books, just 2 for this and 1, carryover from before I was doing this. But yeah, it's I'm still having fun. I'm still really interested in reading some more. So I'll see you guys on Saturday. Ooh, the Sabbath. Cule, what's up? Happy Sunday. Yeah, I got no reading done yesterday. I was sick as a dog. Hella sick. These things happen. Hopefully your week is going well. Or is going well. Was going well? Is going to be well? So let's go over what I read back on Friday. Caitlin for the 4th time. In this one, she goes to the Capitol. I'm pretty sure it's King's Landing. She goes to King's Landing, and she thinks that it's. I don't know if she really thought that it wasn't gonna be having informants and I guess like intelligence agency kind of people, right? Like the king's spies all over the place. Really, Caitlin, you didn't think that they would be looking out for any kind of people coming into the kingdom? Whatever, she gets caught. But who she gets caught by is, someone from her past, somebody that, she cringes about, and it's like, not this guy, not Littlefinger. His name is Peter Baelish, but I'm pretty sure we're just going to know him as Littlefinger from here on out, for however long he's in the story. We also meet Varys. I kind of remember this guy from the show. I'm pretty sure he's a lot more important because I remember him being a lot of focus was on him. I don't remember exactly what what he's going to do in the book, and I don't exactly remember how it played out in the show, which is good, right? But there's still a little bit of that fogginess from the show. The whole point where the dagger is revealed to be like Tyrion's dagger, or yeah, it's Littlefinger's dagger that Tyrion had gotten, and that dagger was used by the assassin. I feel like all of that is 4D chess, right? Like Tyrion had that he thought this might work like this, and this might lead him to this, and he's expecting that. We'll see. Yeah. I've been wanting to read it. I want to catch up on my reading. I also read Book 8 of the Iliad. Book 8. And this one, Zeus Zeus tells the other gods, hey, you guys basically gotta just stop butting in now and let the Trojans and the Chians just go at it. And they do, right? The gods say, hey, okay, we'll sit out and we'll just, we'll sit back and watch. And it doesn't go well for the Chians. And the two goddesses that always have to butt in, Hera and Athena, there they go, messing with the mortal stuff. Like, okay, they get in, or they try to get involved, I should say. And Zeus had warned them, like, hey, if you guys don't respect my orders, it's going to not go well for you. It still might makes right, and Zeus is the most powerful god amongst them. So, yeah. And they test them. They test Zeus, but they go, okay, all right. Iris goes and tells them, hey, Zeus is upset. You guys actually come down here. You're going to face the wrath of Zeus. And they're like, okay, let's not. And then Zeus comes back in after a day of scale fate holding. And yeah, no. He tells them, hey, I saw you guys. Don't test me. You don't want to make me mad. And still, they try to weave some politicking with Zeus and be like, well, if we don't actually get involved, we can still tip the scales a little bit, right? We can still go and inspire them. Hector and the Trojans, when the scales of fate bend towards them and they start slaughtering all the Achaeans, it's starting to look good for them. I thought for a while there it wasn't going to look, it's not been looking good for the Trojans and their allies. But now, hey, right? Yeah, the battle goes on, and Hector and the Trojans actually push the Achaeans all the way back to the ships. And, Hector threatens to burn their ships and be like, this puny wall you guys put up is going to be no good. And, they're going to just burn them down, and they go and Hector tells the people to go and light big fires and to, illuminate the night. And, it's not looking good. Not looking good for the Achaeans. And what I thought was interesting in this chapter was that even at this point, they mentioned that Patroclus, this character that's going to be really important in the Iliad, like he's going to die, like heads up. And, what we need all these things to happen. So, yeah, we got a lot of foreshadowing / like things maybe we should have already known. But I don't know if there was previous reading that should have been done for the Iliad. I never read it. I never heard it. But yeah, that was the Iliad. And the Bible, Genesis 2, God made the Sabbath. Yeah, we got a day for rest. Cool. Yeah, that's pretty much it. More creation, Eden, the names of rivers, a lot of stuff that feels like information. Like, yeah, there's trees, this kind of tree and that kind of thing. Adam is basically created again, and Eden or Eve is mentioned now, right? Created from his rib or side. yeah, it's just more information. But that's what we want right now in Genesis, right? Give us the world. How did this stuff get made? Who are we? That humans, that Adam can name the animals. That's the right we have. Cool. That's how language works, guys. The firmament, again, oh, there wasn't rain at this time, it rather mist. Again, you guys don't know how this stuff works, and that's fine. But no, that it reflects on you. This is the time and place, and these people thought certain things. Okay, well, that's Sunday. Um, I will be doing more reading, and hopefully I won't get sick. But here's to another week and some more reading.